Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of the DAN Show, and welcome to my latest 2021 NFL preview video. Today, I'm going to break down the Dallas Cowboys, and here's how these videos work. I'm going to give you 3 things I like about the Dallas Cowboys, then I'm going to give you 3 things I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys, but stick around to the very end where I break down the Vegas over-under and reveal if I am going to put action out on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, before I start this video, if you are new here, I just got one simple question to ask you. Do you like football? Because if so, welcome home. You're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and while you're at it, ring the bell. That way you're notified every time I come out with a new video. And if you've been here before, you already know the drill. Give me the thumbs up and drop a comment below with how you think the Dallas Cowboys are going to do for the upcoming 2021 NFL season. Now let's start off with the first thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys. The first thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys is new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn was the former head coach in Atlanta, but before that, he was the defensive coordinator for Seattle Seahawks and their famous Legion of Boom defense. In Dallas, the defense won't have to be among the greatest of all time, but they do need to show significant improvement for them to make the playoffs. Now, last year, Mike Nolan tried to switch out Ron Marinelli's Tampa 2 scheme for his preferred 3-4 scheme, and it was a complete disaster. Just Dan Quinn's system alone will make an improvement because the Tampa 2 scheme and Dan Quinn's cover 3 scheme is very similar. The players basically requires the same skill set of players, so that alone is going to be an improvement, and this also goes hand in hand with the second thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys, and that is their defensive loaded draft. When you have a historically bad defense, adding new players is a must. In the Cowboys draft, their first 6 picks were all on the defensive side of the ball, including 3 third-round picks. Overall, I really like the Cowboys draft, and I like that they went after players that fits into what Dan Quinn wants to do. I cannot emphasize this enough. Mike Nolan's scheme was a terrible fit for what the Cowboys roster was already suited for. Quinn's system and scheme alone will make an improvement on the current roster, but adding these players in the draft adds a lot of speed and athleticism to what the Cowboys can do for the upcoming 2021 NFL season. The third thing I like about the Dallas Cowboys is their wide receiver threesome. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and last year's first-round pick, CeeDee Lamb, entered the season as maybe the NFL's best trio of wide receivers. As a rookie, CeeDee Lamb showed why most people had him as the best wide receiver in the draft. Amari Cooper by himself is a legitimate number 1 wide receiver, and a 4th-year pro, Michael Gallup, is a number 2 on most teams. He's actually on a handful of teams, he's actually a number 1. Here in Dallas, he's number 3. And don't forget, 2 years ago, he went for over 1,000 yards receiving, and he's only entering year 4. So there's definitely room for growth and improvement in his game. Now, last year, you can find a trio of wide receivers that had better stats. But coming into 2021, especially with Dak Prescott returning, which isn't even one of my main points. Out of the 3 things I like, I didn't even mention Dak Prescott returning, but deserves mention. Because this trio going into 2021 is the, if not the number 1 trio in the National Football League, it's among the top, 3, 4, 2 maybe? Definitely one of the top handful of trios entering the number 1 wide receiver, because Cooper and Lamb are legitimate number 1 wide receivers, and Gallup is a solid number 2 wide receiver on most teams, but on Dallas, he's option number 3. So just to recap the 3 things I like about the Dallas Cowboys, I like new defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, hand in hand with the defensive-laden draft that's going to help Dan Quinn out, and the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver threesome, and Dak Prescott's return, which will affect that receiving group productivity. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys. The first thing I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys is their passing offense. Now, last year I made a video breaking down the 2020 Dallas Cowboys, and one of the things I pointed out was that Dallas is a lot more successful when they're a run-first team. Look at the 90s dynasty that they built. It was built around this massive offensive line and Emmitt Smith breaking all sorts of rushing records. I mean, now granted, the 90s and the 20s which we're in now, is a different type of game. But bottom line, the Cowboys were always better when they're a run-first team. Everyone points out Dak Prescott having 1,856 passing yards in 5 games, which is very impressive. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from him, but most people admit that the Cowboys only were 2-3 in those 5 games. And most people even admit out of that one of those wins was that crazy game against Atlanta, where if Atlanta recovers that goofy onside kick, they win the game. In reality, Dallas should have been 1-4 in those 5 games where Dak Prescott threw for all those yards. Since Dak Prescott has become the Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback, they've always won more games when they're a run-first team. Under Mike McCarthy, they are definitely not going to be a running football team. The second thing I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys is the defense. Yes, I do like Dan Quinn coming to Dallas as their defensive coordinator, and the defense will be improved. That's because last year it was historically bad in several different categories. This was most likely the worst defense in Dallas Cowboys history. And yes, they also added a lot of draft picks, and they added Dan Quinn, but they didn't add a lot of free agents. And what this indicates to me is that this is, while a very smart thing, it's a long-term thing. It's not a quick fix for 2021. So while the Dallas Cowboys defense will be improved, I still see the defense as a bottom third unit, maybe even bottom half. Even if they are one of the worst half of defenses in the NFL, while it's a vast improvement, it's still not going to take them to where they want to go, which is a direct correlation to the third thing I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys, and that is their very high expectations. One of the best things about the Dallas Cowboys is that they're always in the news. It doesn't matter which football show you watch, they always talk about the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, the Dallas Cowboys might be the most visible franchise in the National Football League. But one of the things that comes with, all that high visibility comes with, is very high expectations. Now, last year, I knew the Cowboys were not going to be a very good football team, but they were heavy favorites to win the NFC East. And Vegas had them as their 5th favorite team to win the Super Bowl. So a 6-10 finish wasn't really hitting the mark, and again, they were a victim of high expectations. In my opinion, this team is more of a team that should be a work in progress, but again, they are a heavy favorite to win the NFC East, and I'm going to go over the odds here in just a little bit, but just to recap the 3 things I don't like about the Dallas Cowboys. They're a passing offense. It's been proven that they're better as a run-first offense. The defense, while improved, is still not going to be up to their very high expectations. Again, heavy favorites to win the NFC East. Now, this is the part of the show where I break down the Vegas over-under, and I am going to reveal if I am going to bet on the Dallas Cowboys. The over-under is 9.5, and you can see here the over is plus 110. The under is negative 130, and this means that if you like over 9.5 wins, you wager $100, you'll actually get 110, whereas under is negative 130, so you have to wager $130 just to win 100. Now, last year, the number started off at 9.5, and right before kickoff, or the start of the season, it went from 9.5 to 10 because people always want to bet on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, with the Cowboys being on Hard Knocks, that's an additional thing that's going to show the increase in betting. So unless multiple Cowboys get hurt, this number may jump up to 10. As a matter of fact, I'm positive that right before the start of the season, unless multiple Cowboys get hurt on Hard Knocks, you'll be able to find 10 somewhere. But if you like the over, you really want to bet on the Cowboys now because that plus 110, that's pretty much the highest it's going to be, again, unless multiple injuries occur. So depending on how you look at it, if you like the over, the number's just going to drop. If you like the under, the number's just going to keep on going up. I like the under. Now, the Cowboys have the same problems that they have last year. Prescott's still in a pass-happy offense. This offensive line is older and wasn't able to stay healthy last year. The defense, while it really can't get any worse, it's still a work in progress. Now, you can always disagree with me. The show always welcomes open discussion. I always, make these videos to start a conversation. But I will say this thing. If you want to tell me I'm wrong, back it up. Let me see your bet slip. Because if you don't have a bet slip, you really know that I'm right. You know I'm right. You don't want me to be right, but you know I'm right. In fact, bonus bet. Here to make the playoffs in 2021, the Dallas Cowboys is negative 170 for yes, plus 145 for no. So if you want to bet on the Cowboys to make the playoffs, you have to wager $170 to win 100. While if you don't think the Cowboys are making the playoffs, a $100 wager will win you plus 145. I don't think they're making the playoffs. So here's how you bet the Dallas Cowboys. You want to wait as late as you possibly can, because you might be able to get 10. But even at under 9.5 wins, that number, even though right now it's negative 130, I guarantee you right before kickoff, the kickoff of the season, it's going to be close to even money. So here's what you want to do. You want to put 75% of your bank, your bet fund, I call it a burn fund, on the under, and another 25% on the Dallas Cowboys not making the playoffs, because barring injury, right now it's at plus 145. That number is just going to skyrocket. It's going to shoot past 150, plus 150 at least. You could even get something crazy like plus 170. Again, if I can take under 10, I am definitely putting action down. But even at under 9.5, I might put a little down. But yes, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are making a playoff, so that's a very good bet. Again, if you really disagree with me, you're definitely positive I'm wrong, post your bet slip, because if you don't have a bet slip, you know I'm right. So listen, Friday, I'm going to break down the New York Giants. So listen, before you go, don't forget, give me a thumbs up. Drop a comment below with what your opinion is on the Dallas Cowboys for the 2021 NFL season. Friday, I'm breaking down the Giants, so I will see you guys Friday.